Welcome to the afternoon sessions at the last day of HR Week 2020. We now have another keynote. Zoran Vasiljev is the Group CEO of Centili. He's an executive with extensive knowledge and legacy in building and running successful digital ventures. He's specialized in telecommunications, investment strategies, organizational transformation, marketing and product development, channel strategy, and business development. Zoran has more than 25 years international experience in digital media, telecoms, and management consulting. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Ivana. Thank you, everyone.
Nice to have you here. Good luck with your presentation. I'll be back with questions.
Thank you. Great to be here, and hope everybody can hear me very well. And
yes, all good.
I will soon switch into a screen sharing mode. Just a quick one. And while I'm doing this, maybe I'll start off by saying I'm actually really glad to be here. When I first was approached by my team, and they said, "Hey, boss, why don't we have an idea, and there's a great HR week and a great event, and we want you to speak." And I said, "Aren't you supposed to speak?" And then they said, "But no, it's we have an idea of why there's a reason that you are probably a best person to give a CEO's perspective on a very specific topic." And I was very excited to actually hear that there's an opportunity to speak about a topic that addresses what it really means to live locally and work globally, given also the background and experience that I had in my career working across the continents, and then in this specific context, also after 20 years returning back to Belgrade, Serbia, and taking over still a global team, but in a more of a local setup, and obviously transforming this into something that will really be a truly global success. So excited about the topic, and look forward to share some of my experiences and some of my views. Before I actually really dive into maybe what it really means to be a truly global, I will just voice this over through a very brief introduction what we as Centili really are, and why is that important in this context, and what we really are, and how I'm going to actually voice this over. It's not an answer to this question, what it means to be truly global, but it actually sets the stage of what the expectations of being a truly global HR organization and a truly global company really means, and what do I as a leader set out as expectation to my people organization and to the HR team that works with us. So without really getting into too much details, as a tech company and as an IT global company that is today connected to over 280 telco operators around the world and serving 4 billion customers, it gives you a right to actually say that you are truly global. And having a recognized award-winning platform, it allows you to say that you're operating in a global environment. Having a coverage and having a capability that is spread in 80 countries, having local presence in nine offices around the globe, gives us a right to say, well, I think you do really have a global business, and not just an opportunistic approach to calling yourself global. That also is supported by a variety and 10 years of attaining trust and relationship with global brands in digital and internet space, obviously with a lot of telco operators and other companies that are spread across the continent. So again, in a nutshell, all that sets the stage to actually allow you to have a team that is diverse, a team that is coming from different backgrounds, and team that sits almost on every continent in our globe in order to serve the customers. But what it really means to be truly global, it's not just that. And despite the the fact that you are running a business and a global platform, and that you have assembled a team, and that you actually have customers, and across the globe and so forth, it's not what it really means to be truly global. And especially in the context of an HR setup, it actually becomes something completely different. And here, when again I said, the team said, why don't you come and talk about this? I said, well, okay, I need to put this perspective of what I have learned in my career. And having had an opportunity and luck in this process of working across the globe, running companies, building companies, investing in companies in Europe, in MENA, last 20 years in Asia, really developing a context and of a leadership style that is inclusive, and had an opportunity to work in companies that are really global giants, that have teams spread across the world. It has given me a perspective and an ability to understand the importance of human capital, the importance of people, organizations, and also a developer perspective of how do I see HR in a context of my own company, in a company that I will eventually lead, and what it really means and what impact does it have, what it really does when you build your organization. So I'll just speak through as I was explaining what it really means to be truly global. I was actually sharing a couple of slides on what the company really does and what we do, and I kind of voiced over that. Just by having a world recognized platform and customers around the globe, having presence and true global coverage, as you can see on this slide, it does not necessarily only make you a global company. Having success and trust by the customers across the industries is obviously very important for our business. But in the context of today's conversation, it's actually way beyond just this being enough for being global, and obviously having a team that comes from different cultural backgrounds and it works in different locations, and has a diverse set of individuals. It's obviously enriching, but it not necessarily always means that you can and should be calling yourself truly a global company. So what it really means is actually really setting a stage and working with your team to develop a specific mindset, to develop a transformation, to develop enough curiosity and responsibilities and resourcefulness in order to develop a truly global culture and be effective. And as I said, when the team says, hey boss, you should go out there and speak about it, I said, yeah, I think maybe I should, because the experience that I was fortunate to have in my career in working across multiple continents and spending last 20 years in Asia, in different industries, working for large corporate companies, large management consulting companies, also co-founded several startups. It probably gave me enough perspective, enough understanding, and I invested enough of my time to actually spend time of understanding how important HR is in a fluid and fast-moving organization, and also why do I think HR is a strategic role and not an administrative role. And in that context, what it really means for an HR team, I'll share with you the experience that I had to go through with Centili since my arrival, which was earlier this year in March. And it was an organization that had fantastic talent, that had 9 years of great history. It built a business that was truly remarkable, coming from a Southern European setup, and working now simultaneously and serving customers in 80 countries around the world. But it was but the HR team was actually more of an administrative, supportive role somewhere in the organization, pretty much buried under a few layers before it ever reached, before it even reached the management level. And the first thing I did when I arrived, and I think it was the first move I did on my day one in organization. I moved HR and to report directly to me. And I truly believe if I want to be a leader and if I want to have an understanding of the biggest asset that a company like ours really has, and that's people and that's human capital, I cannot be removed, an HR team cannot be removed any layer further than reporting directly to me. And that move by itself has also created a different energy and has created a different relevance and has also given a different importance to the people that were in HR at that moment. And then obviously we very quickly realized that we need to increase the number of people in a people's organization. That in order to truly be a global organization, you can't understand your local market only and not have familiarity with rest of the world and rely on some outsourced advice and maybe some outsourced partnerships. We are not a company that has 2,000 employees. We are a company that has less than 100. And because of that, the intimate knowledge of everybody, it's very important. And for us and for me, one of the first moves was really to extract that team and to start reporting directly to the CEO. And I think that by itself has obviously created a different momentum in the organization, while we at the same time were transforming in strategy. We were building out new ideas for new products. We wanted to hire new people. We wanted to address the COVID situation, which obviously, with the arrival of the new CEO, and when this came, it was completely disruptive. But we managed to do so because we understood that regardless that we had 9 years of superior technology, 9 years of great customers around the world, 9 years of every other part of the business working the way it was, we actually have nothing if we don't take care of the people and if we don't address how we want to look in the future and how and what kind of company we want to be for the next 10 years. And I think with that, I set some expectations, and I think those were the ones that were very important to communicate to everybody else in the organization. That strategic role is what expectation is of HR. It's not a supportive one. And with that, it was also very important that HR becomes part of the executive management team, executive leadership team, that actually is aware of everything else we're saying, that is managing our messages, that there's nothing filtered, there's nothing sugar coated, and that somebody that now has this experience and has come into an organization with some new aspirations. It's transparent, so we invented and we started to work on monthly town halls, and we made some promises and built some new momentum with our values, with feedback, with engagement, with branding. I mean, you will not believe how much it's possible to do when you're pressed for time, when you have new energy, and when you have all the other constraints that one would think you can have in this environment. How much great stuff was really happening out of just that simple move of moving HR into the level of being more important and more strategic. Obviously, what his expectation is and continues to be that we continuously seek for best talent, that search is continuously global. We never hire anything for a local need, because once that local need expires, what do we do with this person? If it cannot be deployed or redeployed or used anywhere else in a global company, we have not done a big favor to us, nor did we do a big favor to that individual. Therefore, it was very important that we start to think about talent on a global scale. And obviously, that will probably seek and require different investments, different pay scales, different compensation models, different legal frameworks, all kinds of complexities will added. And for that, you obviously need to, to expect from your HR to increase his curiosity, knowledge, resourcefulness, breadth of access, networking capability with other peers in the industry, and maybe even from other industries, to learn from each other in order to serve what the ambition of this company really is. Obviously, we executed and obviously continue to work on expanding employer branding, and also making sure that every employee in a company is feels the value, feels being invested, feels being talked to, not just as employee number 76, but also as somebody who is a continuous contributor, feedback giver, somebody who has accountability, and somebody that will obviously be recognized and rewarded for. We needed to strengthen, and the expectation is to continue to have these expertise. Those that we can insource, we will obviously hire in and expand the HR team, and those that we can't, we will obviously have to work with external experts to help us until we reach a certain scale. It was very important. The expectation that were also set is that every employee has a 5-star experience, and this starts from the selection and interviewing process all the way into onboarding, and then later on as we take employee through its career path in the organization. It starts with making sure that we are open, transparent, we stick to the promises, we invest where we said we will invest, and then obviously give the freedom to the employee to also to choose its own path. Everybody always talks about career path as if it's something that is designed and that has a template that somebody should follow. In a tech company, in a startup environment, although we are 10 years old, I don't believe in this concept. And I think I often ask my own HR team, are we seeing some signals of the people in the company that would like to do some horizontal moves? They would like to maybe do something else and still be within our organization. Can somebody from finance move to marketing? Can somebody from sales move to product, in order to enrich themselves and also still be very valuable to us, and then in this process continue to really have a great experience with the company. And then also even without COVID, correct, this remote functioning, it's actually the way of business. I think many of you will agree that the way we have worked in November 2019, it will never come back. So people can think that there's going to be an end date to this pandemic, and then therefore that's going to be the date when everything will come back to something from before. I truly believe that November and December of 2019 will never come back in the business environment. This is going to be the first year that we in our business will probably go through an entire year without spending a single hour on a plane to see a customer. And that's unheard of for our business and for somebody like myself who has 200 nights, hotel nights per year in this industry. But guess what? We went through a year, and you managed to organize and shift the business in a way that you need to function remotely from the business perspective, and there's no difference in how you need to function remotely now with running your teams, with running your building your culture, with executing your strategy, and everything else that becomes a task of an integrated and a global company. And ask in just a couple of more examples of what really we did, and what I see and continue to ask from my team in order to deliver on this promise of being local but working global, and vice versa, is that we continuously, and everything we do, we always wear a global hat. You hire individuals, you launch policies, you print hoodies that are applicable everywhere, correct? You do things that really will touch and mean something to every employee, no matter where he is across the globe. And I think that's one part that is something that we continue to work, and I continue to encourage the team to understand that every time once they come back and to work and start a daily task related to employee engagement and anything related to people, always think that you have a global team, that everybody sits in 10 offices, and that we have so many different cultures. Mobility is the second part, to continuously to support our people and our staff to travel, to be curious, and obviously spend some time working abroad. You can't really be a truly global company if you have parts of the organization that have never visited another continent, that have never met another culture, that have never spent some time with customers from another culture, and so forth. So this concept of mobility and rotation of executives, rotation of roles across the globe was very important for us, and it's something that again links back to what my expectations of an integrated global HR team really is. Ownership. Despite the fact that you will have an HR team that reports directly to you. That does not mean that you are the micromanager or everything that they do, that everything needs a board meeting to be approved, and so forth. So it's very important to allow for accountability, to actually allow for some greenfield experimentation, to encourage failure, which without failure and without difficult times, we will never build great businesses. Correct? So a great business and great solution, it never came through something that was easy. A great business and a great result always came out after constraints, after creativity, after difficult periods. And I think that needs to be engraved in everybody's mindset, and that starts with giving somebody accountability and responsibility to make its own decisions. And if sometimes these decisions are not always correct, that's fine. We learn from it, but we just go and we act now. And as I like to say, just act now, make a decision, and ask for forgiveness later. And I think that mentality is something that in a very fluid and fast-moving organization that is disruptive and that disrupts other industries, I believe it's one of the values and one of the things that I firmly believe in. And maybe one day I will hear if my HR team benefited from this. Atmosphere, nurturing and supporting the open attitude with colleagues, obviously very important. And I think the result of this was also the feedback that we receive from the newcomers. And finally, maybe to wrap up on the whole concept of transformation within an organization and starting of what the task of HR is. Just this year, this team had to change the strategy. New management came. We launched new services while we're doing all this, what we mentioned before, everything in a work from home mode, while at the same time, we hired 20 people and increased our headcount by 30% without losing a single soul. And I think that's something that I'm very proud of. That's something that I give a lot of credit to the HR organization, and the HR organization is still very small, and it's still transforming, and it's still learning, and that's why I take a lot of pride in continuously being asked to work with them and being sought for an advice and for support, because it matters to me that they succeed. It matters to me that my experience matters, and that somebody would want to learn from it. And as long as that fluidity functions between the people organization or HR, however you want to call it, and obviously the top management. As long as this functions, I think we'll have a great chance to be an attractive employer for many, many talented people across the globe. We will have a chance to be loved by our customers, because these values and this attitude and this concept will continue to come out of us. And obviously, that will also increase the value of the company, which will be recognized also tomorrow from our investors and other shareholders.